This podcast was produced by Shaun, Weston Media.
From a dimly lit cupboard somewhere in England, two people chat about communications. Sometimes they talk about other things. Welcome to From the Comms Cupboard. Is there such a thing as a remote work culture? A culture?
Oh, good question. I think so. I think we're very much on our way to building that.
But a culture suggests that it's something that everyone recognises, and it is defined and set in stone, perhaps. But I don't feel like... I feel like when I read about working from home, which is the big topic at the moment, it almost feels like that thing you're not allowed to talk about in businesses.
It's a battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a battle going on. I think there's the people who love it, the people who hate it, and now the people who've got no choice.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think there's a lot of people who are being asked to work from home now would absolutely hate it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's those people who think, I can't get anything done. I'm going to be distracted. I'm going to get told off. I'm going to be watched. I have to make sure my little green light is on Skype.
Oh, of course. So the comms. So being present all the time. Whereas sometimes maybe in the office you can hide more.
It's strange, but I think you can hide more. You can hide more in an office because they see you sat there. And that's important.
Why are we bothered about what bosses think? And you know, if we're getting a good job and we're very... we have integrity and personal integrity, and we're not slackers, as they said in Back to the Future, then surely it doesn't really matter what the boss thinks. I get the job done.
Surely, yeah, well, it's all about trust, isn't it?
Yeah.
So actually, is this more on leaders than it is on us or the people out there?
Oh, you mean that managers are the ones with the issue?
Yeah, maybe that's right.
Maybe.
They're passing that anxiety on to everyone else.
All right, what about the types of people? The types of people that can work from home better than they work in an office. Why are we always forced to work in an office, by the way? Well, what's that about?
I guess it's history. I guess it's having that separation between work and home. Yeah, why are we? It's a really good question.
Tradition.
It's tradition, isn't it? Well, I think things are changing. Traditions change all the time.
Not fast enough.
Yeah, but I guess the changing aspect of the workplace, and that it costs so much to have an office. You know, if British companies are having shared services, you know, in India or in other parts of the world, then they obviously see that the cost is too much in the UK.
Overheads are ridiculous.
Overheads are ridiculous. I think a London office or a city centre of any major city, that's expensive, right?
Mm.
So why don't we want more people to work from home?
And surely if you open up your recruitment process, the talent pool of not having to have someone be present in the office so you can micromanage them or look out for them, look over their shoulder at everything they're doing. Surely the talent pool is just immense, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you've got a world of talent then.
A world of talent. You could actually have someone sat in a humble little cupboard like this in the middle of
a tiny cupboard.
Iowa.
In Iowa.
And they work for a conglomerate in London. Isn't that fantastic? And you may never have been able to attract that talent because that person in Iowa is top of their game.
Yeah.
And no one in London quite has that talent. Why would you miss out on that? It's fantastic. That notion of being able to let go of, you must wear nice shoes, you must wear a shirt and tie, and
you must work
8.5
hours a day.
8.5 hours a day.
Between 8:30 and 5.
Whereas, let's call him Derek. Is that a very Iowa name? I don't know what a typical Iowa name is. Let's say Derek. Derek works in his Jim Jams in a small cupboard and he's able to say, I work for one of the top firms in London. I work remotely. It's fantastic. I like the idea of it. We should do more of it.
So what about comms people then? Do you think there's emphasis on comms people to be present in an office, to be at their desk and ready, more so than other roles?
Well, it depends, I suppose, on how you define communication. Is communication always face-to-face? No, it isn't. I see my parents twice a year, but I'm always communicating with them.
It's true.
I don't think I could spend more than a couple of hours, and them with me, before we drive one another mad. But we can call them up. I'm being trivial about communication, but it's the same, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, I think if you think of what comms people are there to do, they're certainly not there as note takers. They're certainly not there to do something on a whim for somebody else. You know, what does a comms person do?
Oh, now we're talking about expectations of comms professionals, right?
Yeah, because I think it's important for some people that they have someone on hand to do their comms for them.
To do their bidding.
Do
my bidding.
Yeah.
I want you to do this, even though it's possibly not in the job description. But hey, we're all flexible these days, right?
It's true.
To a degree.
So what about...
So they have to be, are we saying they have to be in the office? I don't think so.
Well, I think we're both saying the opposite.
I think we're both saying the
As
opposite.
evangelical home workers.
We are. We were working remotely before it was a thing, and it's been a thing for a week now, maybe a few days.
Perhaps it has. Well, what would you say are the things that are big benefits of you working at home or remotely?
Well, benefits of working remotely is that, oh God, there are so many really. I've learned to become a remote worker. I think it's a good starting place. I think there is a barrier you need to get over, and I got over it a few years ago. And the barrier is, like you said, do I need to show someone that I'm working? Do I need to prove it? And then you have that realization where you think, no, I'm pretty good at my job. I'm conscientious.
So is this the conversation between deliverables versus time?
Yes, it is. Where did 9 to 5 come from? Where on earth did that come from?
I think it was Dolly Parton, wasn't it?
It was Dolly Parton, I think you're right.
She's to blame for all this.
She is to blame for all of this.
No, we can't say anything bad about Dolly. She's certainly not to blame for this.
Let's walk that back and blame Jane Fonda instead. That's an easy one.
It's an easier one.
All right. If we don't absolutely consume ourselves with the amount of time being at that desk from a certain time to a certain time, and you let go of those shackles and just focus on what is my job, what is the project, what is the deliverable. I hate that word deliverable, but let's use it here. And that's the important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Surely it's what you deliver or what you bring, opposed to what you don't.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, the other flip side, which is obviously really relevant right now, is commuting. You work at home, you don't commute.
No. Save money.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, you know, I've been stuck in a car for an hour round the corner from my house just to get home.
Yeah.
And I can see home, but I can't be there because I'm still stuck in a car on my
or
commute.
on a train. Do you know, I'm really surprised at how many people actually do long journeys to London every week.
Yeah.
A couple of hours. I don't know how they do it. I don't know why they do it. I mean, a job's important, yeah. But who are they working for that thinks it's okay to have their employees spend 4 hours a day of travel without paying them for it sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. You've got to ask that question.
Yeah, I mean, there is a side of me that does think FaceTime, and I don't mean the Apple FaceTime, I mean face-to-face is still hugely important.
Yeah.
To get to know somebody, to understand them, because a screen can be quite a big barrier. But it's certainly not something that you have to be doing every single day.
No.
I mean, imagine the time, the cost, the stress that is saved from working in your small cupboard or in your home office or sat on the sofa or having a coffee somewhere while you work. There's a lot of benefits, and there are other things, aren't there? I mean, creativity, that's a big thing for a comms person. How many of us get to be creative in an office?
We don't have thinking time.
In our cube.
You know, you've brought up a good point. I think there's the presumption that when you work in an office, you are at your most productive. Well, I think we can blow that one out of the water straight away. I've worked in offices in the past, and I've seen people on Facebook. I've seen people have several coffees a day.
Or cigarettes.
Cigarette breaks. Oh, no one's getting any work done. They're all chit-chatting.
Walk around the office.
Walk around the office, yep.
I mean, as somebody who goes into an office occasionally, I can definitely say I get much more done at home. And I think I can definitely say that when I'm in an office, maybe I'm a novelty, so people want to speak to me more. But I certainly find that I'm much more distracted.
Yeah. You know what else is great about working from home? The coffee's better.